Hey friends, welcome to Simple Homesteading. Well, I know the updates have been few and far between this year. And again, I promise, if you haven't seen it already, we will have an update about what's going on in our life. But today, we've got to do a number of things before we are out of pocket for a couple of weeks. And we need to get some things harvested from the garden. And we figured we'd just give you a really quick tour of how things are going and how things have gone so far this year. Our strawberries did okay for us this year. They grew very, very well in our boxes. They kept us in strawberry shortcake all summer, as well as some strawberries for the top of some ice cream. And we didn't indulge too much, but what we're thinking is these plants are about 8 to 9 years old, and that includes the runners that have come off them. So what we're going to have to do in order to get a bigger harvest and larger berries is to go ahead and begin introducing some new plants into our strawberry boxes. So again, we're happy, but the plants are getting old. They've just about spent themselves, and so we've got to end up bringing in some new strain of strawberries in order to get larger berries and a larger harvest. Our black raspberries are doing amazing this year. If you can see all the fruit that are all over these plants, we should be harvesting them probably in, I don't know, they're starting to turn just a little bit in about 2 weeks. And so when we're back in pocket, to put it a different way, we should be able to start harvesting at that time. We don't have any netting over them at this moment. I'm going to do my best to try to get some netting on these before we head out of town for a little bit, because if not, I don't want to feed these things to the birds. If you remember, we ended up transplanting these from 3 12-inch canes that we pulled from the wild. And so this is what we've gotten. So all of this, again, is free food. Really excited about this. We'll probably get enough for pie. If we get any extra, we'll maybe can up some pie filling or make some jam out of it. We've got a number of things we've got to harvest before we leave. One of them are these radishes. We planted these about how long ago, Lynn?
Maybe 2-3 weeks ago. 2-3
weeks ago, and this is how far they've come along already. This is incredible. Just put your hand down there for so you get an idea of how large those are. Now, I'm not showing my baby because we're out here early in the morning, and she basically has her hair pulled back and no makeup on, and so for me to show her would mean the end of my life. And so I love her, and I'm not going to do that. We have replanted some buttercrunch. And we've replanted spinach. The spinach that we've replanted isn't coming back up really well yet. But this is the Paris White, and we're gonna cut a lot of that before we head on out of here. Let me go ahead and take you for a walk. We have our no expectation potatoes that we talked about. These were just leftover fingerlings that we had from last year. Had forgotten about them down in our little basement storage area for a lot of our foods where we wanna keep them cool and dark. And we said, you know what, we'll just throw them in the ground. And our garden isn't everything that we had originally intended. Again, we'll talk about why sometime in the future. We just don't want to make that information public just yet. And so we decided to go ahead and throw those things in there. So this is how those are coming. That badly needs weeded, but it's just been difficult to get out. We've been so busy. Onions are doing very well. The next thing we're going to harvest is this today. Our garlic that we planted last fall. You can see that, and I'll put a video link below to the video that we did on this. It's all ready to go. When it turns brown on its leaves and falls over, they're ready to pull. So today, you're going to end up seeing us pull these this garlic, and we'll put it out. We'll let it cure for 2 weeks, and then it'll be ready to go ahead and prepare for storage. Some of this will be, we will take the skins off of them and grind it up, and we will dry it in our dehydrator and make it into garlic powder. We love garlic powder, especially the fresh garlic powder that we make. And so in the future, we're going to be planting a whole lot more onions and garlic. Friends, plant what you eat, plant what you use, and maybe plant a couple of things just for fun. But again, plant what you're going to use. Our cabbage, think it's doing well? I think it's doing really, really well. We're excited about this and how well it's going to turn out. Again, in our old tomato boxes, we have planted potatoes, and we'll just see how those come out. On our new diet, we're not really eating a lot of white potatoes, hardly any at all. So what are we going to do with these? We have 3 sons with families. We're going to be giving them to them. If you also remember from a previous video that I have not yet posted, but again, they'll all be coming up online. We made new boxes this year to replace the ones that were in the ground. We did this all with scrap and leftover wood, and we decided, you know what, we're going to put the beans in it this year and see how they go. We're not ancient, but we're getting old, and we like to be able to harvest things at countertop height. And so he said, let's put these in there. Let's see how well they do. And if they do well, guess what? The things that take a long time to come to harvest, like onions and potatoes and garlic, we'll end up putting those things in the ground. And the things that we harvest pretty quickly, we'll put those things in our countertop height boxes. And then if you haven't seen it already, of course, we have a lot of tomatoes this year. We have a set of tomatoes. I'll swing around here on the back side of that privacy fence. I think we've got about 10 plants, many of those being aromas and our sauce tomatoes. And so we've got a lot of slicers here. I don't think we did any cherry this year, did we, Lynn?
No.
Nope, no cherry, or no small, no sun gold, which is sad because we love them. Got a couple of heirloom breeds and a different breed, different types of tomatoes that we tried. Again, it's good to do some fun things, but the fun things you also want to eat. And so we just got some older heirloom breeds that are slicers, and we'll see how those turn out. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull this garlic. And I tell you what, you've seen me pull garlic before. I'm not going to necessarily film this, but I'll show you what we got when it's all done. All right, so let's talk about a garlic harvest for a moment. Our garlic did not come out as well as we'd hoped. And I know the shot is not the best here, but if you see the fact that I've got a pitchfork and that this is the nature of the soil that they were in, you will know right away what the problem is. Here is basically what our garlic came out like. The heads are underdeveloped and they're misdeveloped. Now the garlic's still good and we still got quite a bit of garlic, but we didn't get the large bulb heads that we were hoping to get this year. And it's all because of what we see here in our soil. Now, for those who maybe aren't as familiar with gardening and why this is important, you'll know why in just a moment. And so the problem that we had was our soil was way too compacted. If you're going to grow a root crop like carrots or potatoes or garlic or onions or radishes or things like that, your soil has to be very, very loamy. At the end of this last year, we moved some soil from other boxes and then put a lot of compost into this box. The problem is I did not amend this with any kind of peat or sand. And because of that, I paid a price in harvest this year. When the soil is this hard, your bulbs can't form well and grow out and expand in your garden. Now, it's not necessarily because of how intensely I've planted. I've planted intensely before with garlic to where we've put about 4 to 5 bulbs per square foot, and I've had no problem whatsoever. But if you've got soil like this, you're not going to get a good root crop. And so we paid the price for that. I wasn't paying attention. I missed it. I don't know what the reason is. The issue is gardening isn't just throw some seeds in the ground and then voila, everything turns out perfect. You've got acidity level, you've got what nutrients are in there, you've got, I think I've already said pH level. There's just so many factors that go into this, which is why I love doing this so much. I really enjoy gardening because you learn, and you learn about what's happening with your soil, why it's so important, and it's just, again, it's a delight to produce your own food. Now, over here, if you see, this is where we put our onions. All of these things were the 2 far boxes, and so these boxes, their condition of their soil is much better, because let me just go ahead and pull up the soil here. I don't know if you can see it that well, but it's very loamy. It's not compacted at all. I'm not going to need to get a pitchfork in order to pull these onions out of the ground. But as soon as I tried to pull one out and I could not pull it out, I knew I was in trouble, and I knew what things were going to be like. So is it a loss? Absolutely not. We're going to end up maybe not with as much garlic as we'd hoped to get from the number of bulbs that we planted. But again, that's not the fault of the plant. That's our fault. But we're still going to get a lot of garlic that will cure, and then we'll swing back around. And I think what we're going to do probably with all of this, because Lynn cooks not only with a lot of garlic, but she also cooks with a lot of garlic powder. We're going to take these things, we're going to get them all skinned, we're going to put them in the food processor, we'll end up putting them in our dehydrator, and we'll make a lot of garlic powder. And again, I've had some people say, Brian, you can go down to the dollar store and buy garlic powder for $1 or less. Yes, but friends, come visit me sometime and smell the garlic powder that I make and the garlic powder that you buy, and then look at what the inside of that, the ingredients are on that garlic powder. Oftentimes, it's not garlic powder. It's just something that they make that's in a powder substance that smells like garlic and tastes like garlic with chemicals. It is just not the same. Plus, again, there's just an aspect of being able to be self-sufficient, be independent. My goodness, the coronavirus should drive that home with all of us, this aspect of being able to raise things yourself and not be dependent upon something else. So again, we love being transparent, and we love just showing you all the things that go well and don't go well, and that way we can all learn together. Well, again, if this video was an encouragement to you, if you liked it, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not yet a subscriber, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to know when a new video comes out, because we're not as regular and frequent as other channels, hit the little bell button. And if you'd like to leave a comment, we would certainly love that. That aspect of interaction kind of pushes our video to the top. And then again, not necessarily for any kind of money generating things. We're just here as a community right now. It helps other people see our videos, and you can learn along with us. So again, thank you for joining us here at Simple Homesteading. You all have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bonus video footage. Here's our radish. Look at that. Aren't these absolutely gorgeous?